Welcome back, everyone, and today we need to talk about something that's got Cowboys Nation buzzing all over social media, sports radio, and even inside the locker room. The Dallas Cowboys could be making some serious defensive changes heading into Week 7 of the NFL season, and it's all happening under the direction of defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus. Yes, the same Eberflus who was brought in this offseason to bring discipline, energy, and structure back to a defense that, at times, has looked dominant but at other moments, surprisingly shaky. And now, with the Cowboys standing at a critical turning point in their season, the rumblings around the star suggest that some very real adjustments both in scheme and personnel are on the way. Now, let's set the stage. Through the first 6 weeks of the season, Dallas has been a tale of two defenses. On one hand, when the Cowboys are firing on all cylinders, they've looked like one of the most dangerous defensive units in the league, flying to the ball, forcing turnovers, and creating game-changing pressure up front. But on the other hand, there have been moments, especially against top-tier offenses, where the cracks have started to show. Missed tackles, blown assignments, and inconsistent pass coverage have left fans frustrated, and that inconsistency hasn't sat well with Eberflus, who is known around the league for his detail-oriented, no-nonsense coaching style. Reports emerging from inside the Cowboys facility in Frisco suggest that Eberflus and head coach Mike McCarthy have spent the early part of the week in long, late-night film sessions trying to pinpoint exactly what's gone wrong and how to fix it before their next matchup. Sources have told ESPN that Eberflus has been particularly vocal about tightening up the fundamentals, saying privately that the Cowboys defense has the talent to dominate but not the discipline to finish games. And that's a message that seems to be resonating with the players, especially the younger ones who have started to realize just how much accountability Eberflus demands. One of the biggest potential changes being discussed involves the linebacker rotation. With veteran Eric Kendricks returning from his brief injury absence, the Cowboys are expected to shuffle the lineup in the middle of the defense. Kendricks' leadership and communication could be key in helping the team regain its edge. While second-year linebacker Damone Clark has shown flashes, there's a sense that Eberflus wants more stability and experience in the middle, particularly when it comes to diagnosing plays pre-snap and keeping the defensive line aligned. The Cowboys' defense has been hurt by over-pursuing and biting on play-action fakes, and Eberflus wants a veteran like Kendricks anchoring the middle to keep everything in sync. But that's not the only area getting attention. There's growing talk that the Cowboys could tweak their defensive front as well. Under Eberflus, Dallas has used a mix of 4-3 and hybrid looks, but in recent games, opponents have started finding success attacking the edges and using misdirection plays to neutralize the pass rush. That could lead to a shift in how the Cowboys deploy Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence. Parsons, who remains the heartbeat of the defense, could see his role evolve yet again. Eberflus reportedly wants to move him around even more, lining him up not only off the edge but also inside and even occasionally in coverage, depending on the matchup. The goal here is unpredictability. Eberflus doesn't want opposing quarterbacks to know where Parsons is coming from on any given play, and if that means redesigning parts of the defensive playbook mid-season, so be it. Sources close to the situation have also hinted that rookie defensive tackle Mazi Smith could start seeing an uptick in snaps. After a quiet start to the year, Smith has impressed coaches in practice with his strength and improved technique against double teams. The Cowboys' run defense has been inconsistent, and Eberflus knows that if they're going to stop giving up chunk plays on the ground, it starts with controlling the trenches. That means more rotation, fresher legs, and a willingness to let the young guys take on bigger roles. Smith's emergence could also give veteran Osa Odigizua more freedom to rush from the interior, something that has been a strength of his game since last season. And then there's the secondary, the area that has probably drawn the most criticism in recent weeks. Injuries and communication breakdowns have plagued the Cowboys' defensive backs, especially when it comes to handling deep routes and crossing patterns. With Trayvon Diggs still out, Darren Bland has stepped up admirably, but Eberflus reportedly wants to implement a more zone-heavy approach moving forward. That shift could help limit explosive plays and give the corners more opportunities to read the quarterback rather than playing in man coverage on an island. Expect to see more too-high safety looks, more disguised coverages, and potentially more snaps for players like Wanya Thomas, who has been quietly earning praise for his range and football IQ. But perhaps the biggest change isn't just about X's and O's, it's about mentality. Eberflus has always preached the concept of the HITS principle, which stands for hustle, intensity, takeaways, and smart play. It's the foundation of his defensive philosophy, and according to multiple reports, he's been pushing the Cowboys to fully buy into that mindset after a few lackluster showings. Players have described recent practices as intense and old school, with Eberflus running high-tempo drills that simulate game situations. He's demanding more physicality, cleaner tackling, and smarter pursuit angles. In other words, he's bringing a culture of accountability back to a defense that may have gotten a little too comfortable relying on raw talent. The players seem to be responding. Micah Parsons, in particular, has been vocal about embracing Eberflus's approach. In a recent interview, Parsons said, "Coach Eberflus is on us every day about being disciplined. He's not going to let anything slide, and honestly, that's what we need right now. We've got too much talent not to be dominant every week." That kind of attitude shift could be exactly what this Cowboys team needs heading into a crucial stretch of the season. With the NFC standings tightening up and playoff implications already taking shape, there's no room for inconsistency, especially not on the defensive side of the ball, which is supposed to be Dallas's strength. Another subtle but important area of adjustment involves the defensive communication system. Sources say Eberflus is considering simplifying some of the terminology, and calls to help players react faster on the field. This could make a big difference against high-tempo offenses that try to catch the Cowboys off guard. The communication headset between the linebacker and the sidelines is also reportedly being used more strategically, allowing Eberflus to relay adjustments in real time. Small tweaks like that might not seem major to fans, but in the NFL, those seconds of decision-making can be the difference between a third down stop and a 60-yard touchdown. There's also growing speculation about potential roster moves if the defensive changes don't produce results quickly. The Cowboys have already been linked to a few trade rumors, including possible interest in adding depth at cornerback or defensive tackle before the trade deadline. With Jerry Jones always open to making a splash if it helps the team win now, don't be surprised if Dallas gets aggressive in shoring up its defense. The front office understands that this is a make-or-break season for the team's core group, and they're not going to let defensive struggles derail their Super Bowl ambitions. It's clear that Eberflus isn't afraid to shake things up. He's already made subtle changes to snap counts, defensive formations, and practice routines, and insiders say he's earning the respect of players through his attention to detail. He's the kind of coach who'll pull up a single missed assignment on film and replay it 5 times until everyone in the room understands what went wrong. It's that kind of coaching intensity that could turn the Cowboys' defense from good to elite. And that's exactly what Dallas needs right now. Looking ahead to Week 7, all eyes will be on how these changes translate on the field. Will the Cowboys' defense come out looking sharper, more aggressive, and more cohesive? Will the players buy into Eberflus's message and play with the urgency that's been missing at times? These are the questions that will define not just this week's matchup, but the Cowboys' season as a whole. Because in today's NFL, where every possession counts, the margin between winning and losing can come down to a single defensive stop. For the Cowboys, it's not just about winning games, it's about building an identity. The offense, led by Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, can only do so much if the defense isn't doing its job. Eberflus understands that, and he's on a mission to make sure his unit becomes the standard once again. The talent is there. The leadership is there. Now, it's about execution and commitment. The message inside the Star this week is simple: no more excuses, no more lapses, and no more missed opportunities. The Dallas Cowboys are making major defensive changes under Matt Eberflus, and those changes could very well decide their fate this season. Whether it's shifting schemes, rotating players, or reigniting the fire that once made this defense feared across the league, one thing's for sure: Eberflus is not sitting still. He's challenging his players to rise to the moment, to take ownership, and to prove that this team has what it takes to contend at the highest level. And if the Cowboys can put it all together in Week 7 and beyond, they could be on the verge of something special. So, as we gear up for another big weekend of NFL action, all eyes are going to be on the Cowboys' defense. Will Eberflus's adjustments pay off? Will Dallas finally deliver that complete defensive performance fans have been waiting for? Or will the same issues that have haunted them in the past continue to surface? Either way, one thing is certain: things are changing fast in Dallas, and the next few weeks could redefine not only this season but the entire future of this defense. If you're a true Cowboys fan, you're going to want to keep watching closely, because what's happening behind the scenes right now could set the tone for everything to come. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you enjoyed this deep dive into what's really going on with the Cowboys defense, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our upcoming Cowboys updates, trade rumors, and weekly game analysis.